rates of women losing their hair at any age, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up, is just getting higher and higher. Women come to me desperate for answers on their hair loss, and usually, again, it's very limited, right? Medications that are supposed to stop hair loss, medications that might help regrowth, all those medications, as I found out as well, have side effects and sometimes simply don't give us the answers we need. So today we're going to talk about hair loss and lay the foundation for understanding what could be happening, but most importantly, understanding how to regrow your hair. Now, one of the things I talk about all the time when I have somebody in the exam room is that we have a scalp full of hair, but every region of the scalp really matches to different systems of the body. So when you're losing hair, it's important to understand where it's coming from. That's where this handy little device helps me, because this is a dermoscope, by the way. I can literally go in here and find areas of the scalp where there might be a greater amount of hair loss, where I see maybe more follicles. And on this particular patient, if we rotate over to the side, we see a little area right in here. And I can actually count the number of follicles that are there and the number of hairs that are lost. And here's the advantage of doing that. When we turn around and start treatment, we can follow it over the next 4 to 6 months and see if these areas are building back up. Now, many of you come to me and you complain that your greatest concern, you really notice that your scalp, or it's sort of right here where your part is, that area is widening, and that's signs of early hair loss for sure. But as that part gets wider and wider and wider, we become more aware of it. This is what happened to me, and the people around us are aware of it as well. I don't want that to happen to you. So let's break it down. When you are losing hair from here, right here in the crown of the head, that is typically hair loss due to your thyroid. That is the most common thing that I've seen in practice. And usually what happens is you go in to grab the hair. This is a hair pull test. Sorry about that here. But you go in to grab the hair and it comes out in your hand without much effort. That's typically the thyroid. The other piece of hair loss could be the texture and the strength of the hair is changing. Let me put this little dermoscope away. But literally you pick up a strand of hair and it should be hard for me to break it. As you can see, I can't break her hair very easily. But if I can easily break the hair, that's a nutritional deficiency, typically B vitamins or iron or the fats, something that we need to replenish and we need to restore. On the other hand, if we're losing hair, like we saw this little patch right here, if we're losing hair on the sides, then typically that's a problem with estrogen and progesterone numbers. That ratio being off, or a depletion in those particular hormones, is why you lose hair right here on the temples. So think thyroid, think nutrition, think estrogen and progesterone. We have one more hair loss pattern that I want you to understand, actually two. And one is if you had thick, luxurious hair, and her hair is actually pretty healthy and beautiful. She just had a couple of these little patches she was worried about. But let's say you've got this thick hair and all of a sudden these strands are starting to crumble like paper. They're getting thinner and thinner and thinner, almost feeling crackly and dry under your hands. That goes with high testosterone, high DHEA, or high androgens, which again is associated with a lot of polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS as many people call it. And again, just a reminder, that is not just an issue for people in their 20s. As women go into perimenopause and menopause, they often see this androgen pickup, not just with the crackly hair, but also with maybe more chin hair, more acne, more oily skin, and some of these other high androgen signs. So those are the 4 or 5 different reasons folks typically lose hair. The last one is more autoimmune in nature, and that is very clear. Usually with that type of hair loss, you'll have a round circle. If I use my dermoscope, I would have a nice little area that I could see that sort of fit the circumference of the dermoscope, and it would be clear. There'd be nothing there, no follicles, nothing along those lines. So that's how you can kind of tell whether it's autoimmune, it's hormonal, it's nutritional. And then the last reason to lose hair, which really impacts all of our list, quite honestly, is stress, right? If you're chronically stressed, you're not sleeping, then it's going to impact your nutrition, your hormones, and everything else that we just talked about. If you'd like to learn more about how to reverse hair loss, stay tuned, because next week I'll be posting a video on how to reverse hair loss by using an essential oil scalp massage.